Steps to serving safe food is the proper cleaning and sanitizing of equipment, utensils, and facilities. This section will discuss the two-step process of cleaning and sanitizing. You will learn the difference between cleaning and sanitizing and understand how, when, and why cleaning and sanitizing should be done. Cleaning is the removal of food or soil debris from the surface to which it clings. Sanitizing, on the other hand, is a reduction of the microbial population on equipment, utensils, or work surfaces. First, let's look at the cleaning process. In order to see how food particles cling to surfaces, you need to see the bacteria at a microscopic level. As you can see in the picture, food particles and bacteria have dried on the table surface. They have even worked their way into surface scratches, cuts, and grooves. Many of these particles are not visible to the naked eye. It is possible that food particles and bacteria have dried on tables and countertops and even worked their way into surface scratches and grooves if these surfaces have not been properly cleaned and sanitized. Food contact surfaces can also have biofilms, which are formed by some bacteria. Biofilm combined with dried food particles acts as a layer that protects the underlying bacteria from the environment and sanitizers. Biofilms are highly resistant to cleaning and sanitizing efforts. A thorough cleaning is the first step in removing this protective layer. Cleaning requires three main components: water to wash and rinse, soap or detergent, and energy. Water helps loosen food and other items stuck to surfaces, dishes, utensils, and equipment. The water also serves as a carrier for soap to remove these particles. Of course, the water should be from an approved source so that we are not cleaning with dirty water. Potable water must be used for cleaning purposes. Water temperature should be warm to hot, about 110 degrees Fahrenheit, or as recommended on the label instructions of the cleaning agent. Water should be changed when there are visible food particles in the solution. Soap also loosens food particles from surfaces and removes some microbes. Energy can be from the water pressure in the dish machine or from the scrubbing friction from hands. Pressure and scrubbing help loosen food and microbes and break up biofilms, exposing hidden bacteria. For some types of dirty dishes or equipment, it can take more than soap and water to remove visible soil. Pre-soaking or repeated washings may be needed. Be sure to rinse all surfaces as part of the cleaning step. Any surface of dishes, utensils, or equipment that comes into contact with food should be cleaned before it is sanitized. This includes cutting boards, stationary equipment, work tables and utensils, surface equipment, flatware and utensils, and dining room surfaces. Manual cleaning begins with fresh, soapy water in a sink or designated pail and ends with rinsing of the work surface. Water used to clean needs to be changed frequently. Soap becomes less effective at removing food and other particles as the water collects more food particles and other matter. At a minimum, change wash water before each meal. If washable cloths are used, get a clean one each time you change the wash water, as it is hard to clean with dirty tools. It is recommended that clean linens for the kitchen be kept in a separate area from those used in other areas of the facility, such as for custodial or recreational purposes. Now, let's look at step 2, sanitizing. Sanitizing is done after washing and rinsing are completed. When serving to the public, it is important that food contact surfaces are sanitized after cleaning to prevent foodborne illness. There are two ways of sanitizing dishware and equipment, either mechanically through a dishwashing machine or manually using a 3-compartment sink. For mechanical sanitizing, heat sanitizing with high temperatures or chemicals can be used. Heat sanitizing uses hot water. The final hot water sanitizing rinse temperature will vary depending on type of machine. Check machine instructions. A final rinse temperature of 180 degrees Fahrenheit when water exits the machine is typical. Consult with your local health inspector if you have questions regarding final rinse temperature for the type of machine in your facility. The water temperature should be checked when beginning dishwashing at each meal period to make sure the machine is working properly and heat sanitizing is occurring. Simply reading gauges on the dish machine is not enough. In order to be sure that the water is hot enough, you need to periodically check it using a temperature-sensitive strip or dish machine thermometer. The water temperature when it comes in contact with the dishware should be at least 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Temperature sensor strips are available to measure a variety of temperatures. Attach the strip to a serving dish or other flat item and send it through the machine. The temperature strip will turn black if the proper temperature has been reached. Use of the temperature sensor strip verifies proper sanitation has occurred. Record the gauge temperatures at each meal as a way of documenting proper operation of the machine. Attach the strip to the cleaning and sanitizing log to verify the dish machine was working properly. Other types of test strips can be put in the tines of a fork and sent through the machine. These strips will also turn black if the proper temperature has been reached. If the test strips do not turn black, this indicates the machine is not working properly and heat sanitizing is not occurring. Corrective action should be taken. After testing, remember to run the dishware used for testing through the dish machine again for proper cleaning and sanitizing. To avoid recontamination of clean dishware, 2 people should be scheduled in the dish room, 1 to load soiled dishes into the machine and 1 to unload clean and sanitized items. Another way to sanitize is to use chemicals. Be sure that you only use chemicals that are approved for use in kitchens and appropriate for equipment. Review manufacturer's instructions for use of chemicals to be sure correct amounts are used. Chemical sanitizer concentrations should be checked at least once during each meal for chemical dish machines and 3-compartment sinks. In 3-compartment sinks, there often will be a fill line to indicate how much water should be in the sink. The amount of chemical dispensed through a pump or tower should be in correct proportion to the amount of water used. There are 3 types of chemical agents used in food service sanitizers: quaternary ammonium, or quats, chlorine, and iodine. They are not all the same. Each has different characteristics, and each requires a different concentration to be effective, and a different test strip for checking accuracy of concentrations. The proper concentration for food contact surfaces is based on the type of sanitizer. According to the current FDA Food Code, quaternary ammonium should have a concentration as indicated by the manufacturer's use directions. Chlorine should be 50 to 100 parts per million, and iodine should be 12.5 to 25 parts per million. The best way to ensure the sanitizer is effective is by checking it with a test strip. There are specific test strips for each type of chemical agent. When the test strip is placed in the solution for at least 10 seconds, it should change color. Compare the color of the test strip to the indicator on the package to determine sanitizer concentration. Checking the concentration is important because sanitizers become less effective over time. That doesn't mean more is better. If the concentration is too high, there is a potential for toxicity. Sanitizer effectiveness also breaks down when food particles are present in the solution. Most sanitizers are good for about 2 hours and then should be changed. Some dish machines use quats or chlorine for mechanical sanitizing rather than high-temperature water. Chemical sanitizers can also be applied manually using a bucket or spray bottle following cleaning. Be sure the spray bottle is properly labeled with the name of the agent. The cleaning solution and sanitizing solution must be kept in separate containers. If the detergent is mixed with the sanitizer, the sanitizing solution is not as effective. You should now know the difference between cleaning and sanitizing and the proper steps for each procedure. To avoid recontamination of clean and sanitized items, be sure dishware and equipment are completely dry before returning to storage. Do not use towels to dry items. Air drying is recommended. Be sure clean hands are used to handle the clean and sanitized dishware and equipment. Remember, it's a 2-step process. Step 1 is cleaning, which involves washing with soap or detergent and rinsing with clean water. Step 2 is sanitizing, either by high temperature or chemicals applied manually or using a dish machine. Remember these tips. cleaning requires a cleaning agent, water, and energy to be effective. Use separate cloths and pails for cleaning and sanitizing to avoid cross-contamination. Check your dish machine temperature or sanitizer concentration at each meal. Document the temperature or sanitizer concentration and the date and time that they were taken. Sanitizer in sinks or buckets should be changed several times a day. Now that you know how to properly clean and sanitize, you're on the road to serving the safest food possible.